In this video, I'm going to show you how to navigate and select different sounds in the FA06 and 08. So when you first boot up the FA06, you'll notice that it comes to the Studio Set Play screen. And from here you can see the first one is the preset 001 FA Preview. And the cursor is automatically selected to the part sound that you're selecting. It's 0188 metal pad. So you can play this. It's a nice synthetic kind of metal synth pad sound. And you notice another thing too here at the bottom, it says synth pad slash string. Well, that's the category that this metal pad fits into. So you can think of these different parts or different sounds as being assigned to a category, and in this category you may have multiple sounds that sound similar in that category, so therefore they're grouped together. So often when you're selecting sounds, you may want to think in terms of categories because you may want a certain type of sound, and that'll help you kind of be able to narrow down all the sounds in the keyboard that sound similar to that. And if you don't know what type of sound you're looking for and you want to browse through all those, you can do that as well. So a couple ways to navigate sounds here is once you're on this FA preview, if you want a single part sound, you can use the scroll wheel. You could dial through these. You can also use the increment and decrement keys to go up and down in the numbers there and preview those. You can also hold down the shift and enter button, and this takes you to a list view where you can view all the different sounds that are in that category. The cool thing is from here is not only that you can view the individual sounds that are in that category, you can actually use the left and right arrow buttons, and you can jump to other categories if you wanted to. And of course, every time you highlight a different sound here, the sound changes. And you can also use the preview button to preview a pattern that's more characteristic for this type of sound. So the Roland programmers kind of help you out in being able to determine how this sound could be used by using that preview button. You can also hold the shift button and press the preview button, and it'll hold that preview down, so you don't have to sit there and hold it. So let's exit out of this. Now keep in mind what we did was we jumped to a different category here when we were in that list view, but you can also jump to different categories by pressing the category buttons. So we can jump to drums, piano, etc., organs. Now every time we're jumping to these different categories, notice that there's a little button there that says lock, and that allows you to quickly scroll through all of these sounds, and you'll notice sometimes they're not in order. So let's for instance 0037, if we scroll down, the next one's 783. So out of the blue you can really jump around in the different sounds that are numerically assigned in the Roland FA06, but you're still staying inside of that particular category type. So it's easy to listen to all of the organs, for example, if you just scrolled through all of these. Now there is another feature here. You can actually unlock this category. So just highlight that and press the increment or decrement button to unlock it. And now when you highlight this and you scroll through all these sounds, you may jump to another category because it's going through these in numerical order. So for instance, 059 is in the organ category, or is in the electric organ category, but if we jump to 60, the next one up, it's in the pipe organ category, or 062 is in the synth poly key category. So using that lock feature is a quick way to stay within that category if you only want to preview those types of sounds. I want to show you another feature too, and this is the favorites feature. This is where you can assign certain sounds to be dialed up quickly using the favorites buttons or the favorites functionality. So let's go ahead and press favorite, and once that's highlighted, these buttons no longer jump to different categories. They jump to favorites that you have stored. So let's press 0, and you see it jumps to 035, which is a favorite that I had stored into bank 0, slot number 0. And I have one stored in 1 as well, but I don't have one stored into 2. And if you have an empty bank or an empty slot in your bank, whenever you press that button, it'll say no favorite is stored. So let me show you how to store a favorite. All you're going to do is you're going to dial in any sound that you want to save into the favorite. So let's save 040 Vintage 10. And we're going to hold down the favorite button, and while this is held, all the empty slots are going to blink. So you'll see that 2 through 9, they're empty. So I can press 2, and now it says that tone or that sound is registered into favorite number 2. So now no matter which sound I'm on, if I press number 2 with the favorites button lit, it's going to jump to that sound. Now if we hold down the shift button and press the favorites button, you go into kind of a favorites list view page, and here you can see all the tones or all the sounds that I have stored in bank 0 of the favorites, and it also has a check mark there showing which one that we're selected to. Now you could jump up to whichever one you want here, and you could press enter, and it's gonna jump back to that one that's highlighted there. You also have the ability to manage some of these. So if you hold the shift button here, you can remove these tones if you wanted to that you have stored. Just like in the list view for the sound selection too, where you jump into different categories when you go left and right. When you're in the favorites list view, and if you go left or right, you're changing into the different banks. So you can see you have banks 0 through 9. So you have up to 10 banks that you can store these into if you want to. Now to exit out of the screen, just simply press the exit button. The only thing you want to make sure, and this could trip you up sometimes, is that after you select your favorite, so let's pick one that has one in there. After you select your favorite, the favorites button stays lit. So to jump out of the favorite selection functionality of these buttons basically is you want to press favorites till it's no longer lit, and then these become category buttons again.